Hello there and welcome to another Coffee with Colm, and thank you for joining me. I'm just back from holidays, took a flight during the week, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to talk about in this week's Coffee with Colm. And then on Thursday morning, the day after I got back, Eamon Smith, a friend of mine who's a life coach, he put up a post on social media and he used a particular phrase which referred back to my flight. And it is that famous phrase that we all know from flying, and it is put on your own oxygen mask first. And it makes perfect sense. Put on your own oxygen mask first in the case of an aircraft emergency, so you can look after young children and others around you. But it also struck me that that particular phrase applies to all of life. If we haven't looked after ourselves first and foremost, well then how can we be expected to look after our corner of the world? So the phrase put on your own oxygen mask first applies to many other things other than just flying, and I want to thank Eamon Smith for the inspiration. If you take that phrase put on your own oxygen mask first in terms of business, well then it refers to the fact that your business can never outgrow you. Your business can never outgrow you. It's a physical impossibility. So for your business to grow or your career to grow, you must grow first. If you grow, your business will grow to match. If you don't grow, your business won't grow. Simple as. If you don't grow, your career won't grow. Simple as. All success is an inside job. I heard a phrase many years ago, and it was if you win €1 million in the lottery, well then you'd better become a millionaire very quickly or you're going to lose it all. And that didn't make any sense to me. If you win €1 million in the lottery, surely you're a millionaire. And that is actually true, but just in that moment. Because if you don't become a millionaire in here, in your head, well then the statistics suggest that you will lose it all. Statistically, apparently 70% of all lottery winners go broke. So what's that got to do with? Well, it's certainly got nothing to do with money. It has absolutely got everything to do with how people perceive money, how people think about money. You see, life always flows back to yours and my level of belief. So if we don't believe ourselves to be a millionaire, well then it doesn't matter if somebody gives us $1 million by way of winning the lottery. We stand to lose it all. Simple as. We must get our heads screwed on straight first. I'm not aware of many entrepreneurs who would in fact waste money on lottery tickets. Most entrepreneurs that I'm aware of invest money in themselves. They invest money in getting the head screwed on straight. If they get the head screwed on straight, they know that natural laws will take over and their business and their career and their life will follow suit. It will flow to their level of self-belief. So if you want to become a millionaire, well then don't buy a lottery ticket. In fact, go invest in yourself, get your head screwed on straight, and eventually life will allow you to become a millionaire. Maybe you don't want to become a millionaire, that's fine. Maybe you just want to earn some more money, and that's fine. So if you want to earn some more money, you know where to work. You need to work on you. Put on your own oxygen mask first. If you'd like to be physically healthier, well then you know what you need to do. You need to work out. You need to put on your own oxygen mask first. If you'd like a greater spiritual walk, well then you know what you need to do. You need to pray. You need to put on your own oxygen mask first. If you'd like better relationships and more friends, well you know what you need to do. You need to become a better friend first. You need to put on your own oxygen mask first. I put out a blog last year about Quadrant 2 living, which is a Stephen Covey concept, and he talks about the 4 quadrants of activity that you and I are engaged in. Quadrant 1 is where stuff is important and urgent. Quadrant 2, where you and I need to spend more of our time, is where stuff is important but not necessarily urgent. Quadrant 3 and Quadrant 4 are basically below the line and don't really count. Quadrant 2 is where you and I need to spend our time on stuff that's important but not necessarily urgent. If you want to grow in yourself so that you can grow in your career, well then you need to read books. Reading books is important, but it's not necessarily urgent. If you want to get physically healthier, well then you need to work out, but working out is important, but it's not necessarily urgent. If you'd like a greater spiritual walk, well then perhaps you need to say a few prayers, but saying a few prayers is important to some, but it's not necessarily urgent. If you'd like better relationships in your life, well then you need to be a better friend, but being a better friend is important, but it's not necessarily urgent. So there's a degree of proactivity required here for you and I to move ahead. We need to put on our own oxygen mask first in every aspect of our life, and if we do so, we're better equipped to look after those around us. You see, the 4 pillars that we've just spoken about, finances, relationships, health and spirituality, they're all important in the overall scheme of life, but it's not necessarily urgent that we do something about them today, and that's where the proactivity that's required needs to come in. That's where you need to put on your own oxygen mask first. And truthfully, none of them ever become urgent right up to the point where they do become urgent. None of them are urgent right up to the point when they become urgent. And I've got some bad news and some good news around this topic, folks, right? Bad news is in an aircraft situation, God forbid any of us would ever find ourselves in a crisis situation. But in that situation, the only time we ever get to practice putting on our own oxygen mask first will be when we're in crisis. Please God, that'll never happen. But that's the only time we'll ever get time to practice that particular activity. In relation to everything else we've spoken about today, the great news is, it's not even good news, the great news is that we get to put on our own oxygen mask first every single day. In terms of our health, in terms of our wealth, in terms of our spirituality, in terms of our relationships, we get to put on our own oxygen mask first. And if we do so, I guarantee that we'll have more fulfilling, richer, deeper lives. So in this next week, I want you to put on your own oxygen mask first. Please take a step this week. Don't decide to quit smoking. Quit smoking. Don't decide to quit smoking. Quit smoking. Don't decide to go out and buy some gym gear. Go for a walk instead. Don't decide to start saving money. Instead, do without that slice of cake with your very important cup of coffee, right? Do without your slice of cake, the very important cup of coffee, and put that money into a savings account instead. €3. It's only €3, but it'll make a difference. Don't decide to go back to church. Simply take a moment and give thanks. Don't decide you're going to read that great personal development book on your holiday. Read 10 minutes now. And don't decide to create a plan so you can go visit some loved one. Pick up the phone now. I hope you can see that our lives can only get better if we get better. And I'd like to thank Eamon Smith for sparking the thought in my head around the analogy of putting on your own oxygen mask first. I think it's a really powerful analogy. And if you and I go out next week and put on our own oxygen masks first, I guarantee we'll have a better week. And I guarantee if we have a better week, well then the people around us, the world around us, will be better for it. So thank you for joining me for this week's Coffee with Colm, courtesy of Eamon Smith. I hope and trust that you got something from it, and if you did and you think somebody else would benefit, I'd be delighted if you'd pass the link on. If it's your first time here and you've enjoyed this type of stuff, well then pop to the homepage, ColmoBryanMotivation.com, leave me some details and I'll make sure you get a link like this every week. Most importantly, please consider what's been shared here this week and apply it into your thinking in the next few days. And then equally as importantly, please come back next week and we share another coffee together and I'll ruminate on some other aspect of life and business. Between now and then, get some good coffee for sure, get some fresh air for sure, get some R&R. If you spend a lot of time with people, I recommend you spend some time alone. If you spend a lot of time alone, I recommend you go meet some people. And then when the time is right, and only when the time is right, get your head back in the game, get organised for the week ahead, get stuck in, make next week count, and I'll see you here this time next week for another Coffee with Colm. Sláinte. I really love great coffee. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.